But I wish I would have took it more serious, you know. But for sure on the third fight, I'm gonna give it all I got. I want those belts back.
You think if you had trained a bit harder, you think you would have beaten him?
I think so, you know. I think he was just running too much. I think for me being too big, I was too slow to try to catch to him, you know.
Right.
But you know, things didn't happen. But he's gonna train harder, baby.
Okay, we want a third fight though, man. We want the trilogy.
Shout out to my Patreon, Danizel, Don Carlo, Carluccio, anyone else who wants to support your boy on the Patreon, exclusive daily content, interact with the YB, request content from the YB, patreon.com/the YB. So we just heard there from Andy, Margin Boo, Ruiz. Man, this dude, man, what's wrong with this dude? Anthony Joshua. He runs too much. He ran too much. No, your big bubbly self weren't in shape. And it's interesting. I was at my mate's house the other day, and we was talking about Mike Tyson and Andy Ruiz, and we was talking about Ruiz, complaining, AJ ran too much, and Ruiz pointing to the floor saying, come here and fight. One thing I noticed about Mike Tyson, show me a time in Mike Tyson's career where you saw him having to point to the floor. You don't see him pointing to the floor. Guess why? Because he's coming to you. Show me a time Mike Tyson ended a fight and complained that someone was running too much in his prime. In fact, even not in his prime. Show me a time Mike Tyson complained about someone running. He's been in there with the very best boxers, by the way. Spinks. Larry Holmes. Man never stopped in his whole career apart from Mike Tyson. One of the greatest boxers, outboxers in the whole of history itself. Amazing. Spinks, lineal champion, true lineal too. None of this goofy Tyson Fury business where you beat someone and run away for 2-3 years. Yeah? Proper lineal. So, the fact of the matter is, when you're that kind of fighter, even Chisora to an extent, you don't see Chisora pointing to the floor either. He's coming to find you because they're athletic, they're explosive, and they're coming towards you. They're not scared, and it's interesting because many people, including myself to an extent, after watching December 7th, we kind of said, AJ should have been more aggressive. But in reality, that was Andy Ruiz's job. Andy Ruiz could have forced the fight out of AJ, yeah? And even though he was big and bubbly, it's funny because I think Andy Ruiz, in his head, I think Andy Ruiz actually quit that night. Seriously, on December 7th, I think he actually more or less quit. In as much as he said, he talks about, if I wasn't so big, I would have won. If it coulda, woulda, shoulda business. But not only that, if I wasn't so big, I could have won. If I wasn't so big, I could have done this. No, Andy, being big didn't stop you walking forward. Many times in that fight, you stood there and had your quant jabbed right in for you. Yeah? AJ pushed your shit right in for you. Pushed it all the way to the back for you. Yeah? And you just stood there. So, let's get it right. You could have jabbed with the jabber. When AJ went to jabber, you could have jabbed with him, but you didn't want to. You shook. Why didn't you jab with a jabber? I've seen Mike Tyson jab with people before. Exchange jabs. You've got quicker hands. Everyone likes to, Ruiz has got quick hands. Where were the quick hands? And the reason Ruiz didn't want to throw with AJ was because it was having his quant punched right in for him. When you have your quant punched right in for you, look at Chisora versus Fury 2. That was an example. Now, like I said before, I think that fight goes differently now. I think this Chisora under Hay is different, but still, take the second fight for example. Fury versus Chisora 2. Chisora had his quant punch right in for him. Didn't want to throw with Fury, just stood there. Bottom line, yeah? Ruiz, big or not, big and bubbly or not, why didn't you go and march forward? You and all your fans are talking about, Joshua, chinny, weightlifter. Are you all talking about how he's chinny and all this kind of business and he's got flaws and we're going to go in there and, I'll never forget, my favourite part of the whole build-up, to be fair, was the day after the weigh-in. After the weigh-in, people were in my comment section saying, YB, he's coming in big, he's coming in for power, he's coming in to... In fact, to tell the truth, I'm pretty sure my own dad even said it. My dad was gassed. Yeah, Oh, he's coming in for power. Oh, I think it tells me he's coming in for power. I sat there, I thought, this dude, he dude love hating. Oh, he's coming down now, he's coming in for power. People, this is how much the Ruiz dudes or the AJ haters, this is how much they would, like, people call AJ fans delusional. We actually go based on reality, i.e., in 23 fights, no one's ever done what he's done, i.e., beat as many number 1 and number 2 ranked people, etc., etc. But yet, you Dons, you AJ haters, you see a dude coming in career heaviest and somehow take positives from it. Oh, yeah, I had people telling me about Butterbean. Oh, no, YB. Oh, to be fair, Butterbean. Butterbean who? What world championship? What world championship did Butterbean ever win? I think he was EBS champion or some random issue like that. I think he was Sega champion. I think back in the 90s, when Nintendo Sega was big, I think they sponsored a belt when there was a Sega belt going around. I think he had that. People were telling me, no word of a lie. On December 6th, people were telling me after the weigh-in, oh, YB, he's coming in big. He's coming in for power. Oh, they know something. They know Joshua's chinny. They know Joshua can't take a shot. Oh, yeah, YB. I don't know. Remember Butterbean? Oh, Butterbean could punch YB. Oh, yeah, but all this kind of business. Everyone was gassing up. So my point is, if he was Mr. Butterbean, if he can punch, if he was coming in for power, why didn't he go in there? Because I don't understand it. AJ's known, and I exposed it myself. Manny Robles, Andy Ruiz's trainer, identified this himself. He said, AJ has a low lead hand. We can exploit that by throwing an overhand. Yeah? AJ has a low lead hand, and we're going to ding an overhand. Why didn't Ruiz? The minute he saw AJ throwing a jab, why didn't Ruiz tuck his chin and bowl an overhand over the top? Why not? You're meant to be big Mr. Mexican. Meant to be Mr. Mexican, Mr. this, Mr. that, Mr. Joshua's chinny, Mr. coming in for power. Why didn't he? That's what I mean when I say I think he half quit, because he didn't go for it. Where was the Mexican spirit when he knew he was getting his quant punch right off for him? Why didn't he say, you know what? The last 3 rounds, my chin's going on my chest, and I'm just gonna put it on him. Derek Chisora versus Dillian White style. Where was that in him? Where was that oomph? Because we've seen Derek Chisora get in there and think he's losing and say, you know what, I'm going for this, and just start swinging. Where was that from Ruiz, Mr. Oh, I think Joshua quit. He had no problem sitting there on gloves are off. Oh yeah, I think I think you quit. Oh, he had no problem saying that. But when you was in there, Mr. Big Man, when you was in there with the real AJ, not the clone. You didn't really want to know. Anyone can be an on-top fight. Anyone can be in there with a disorientated MK Ultra clone and be Mr. Big Man. Be Mr. Speed and combinations. Where was the speed? Where was the combinations? Where was the counter-punching? When you was getting your jab, when you were getting your jab right off for you. Where was it? That's what we want to know. Oh, well, I was too... Oh, if I'd have been smaller. No, I don't think... And that's why at this point, yeah... Initially, I even said that I think if Ruiz had been in better shape, it could have been a better fight. But on hindsight now, I'm reflecting thinking, I don't think it actually would have. Because the fact of the matter is, Andy Ruiz could have just started swinging. Regardless of weight, he could have just started swinging, but he didn't. And that there proves that regardless of what weight he came in, he just couldn't handle the jab. He didn't really want it. He didn't want to be caught. He didn't want to sacrifice his own chin to touch AJ's. That's what it comes down to. Chisora, we've seen Chisora is happy to do that. Chisora's happy to say it's you or me tonight. And that's and I've talked about it myself, that's a very rare quality. That is an all-time great level quality. And in fact, even within the all-time greats, not many of them have that. And that's hats off to Chisora. Not many fighters in period, in the whole of boxing history, have had that oomph in them, or have had that uniqueness, that dog in them, which will say, it's me or him tonight. Before this 12 rounds is out, it's me or him. Chisora has it, Ruiz don't. It's all that talk about, and people can sit there and say this, that, the other, but AJ, no matter what happens, he stays humble, and you know what I mean? All this kind of business. Whereas your boy Ruiz, he was sitting there, he was making statements. Oh, no, I think you quit. No, I think you quit. Yeah, if you're going to say that, Mr. Anti-Quitter, why don't you go in there and put yourself on the line? Oh, well, no, big or not's irrelevant about AJ running too much. Why didn't you, never mind running too much, why didn't you say, you know what, I'm marching forward and just swinging for the hills? And I can't. Oh, he's running too much. You can't win. You can't win. You can't win with these people. You know. You can't win with them. You stand with them. Oh, he's stiff as a robot. You box. Oh, he's running. Can't win.